Hello, everybody. So, it's me, Caleb Superstar, and here's my newest video. So, yeah, before I go into this video, I want you to like and subscribe. We are trying to get to 200 subscribers, so if you just subscribe, that would be heavily appreciated. Okay, so what this video will be is me to debunk Goji Chronic's Five Nights at Freddy's versus Frisk video. I really disagree with a lot of things, so I'll just be explaining why I disagree with what he says. I'll try to put the video in the description below. So, anyways, he has done a lot of things that would underestimate the Five Nights at Freddy's crew, and he even had admitted that Undertale is his favorite game. So there could be a possibility that he was biased to that, but I am not gonna point fingers and say that, so I'll just be explaining things. I agree with most of the stuff that he showed, with them being stuffed into suits being wall level, which is pretty consistent. And I'm surprised he didn't brought up the twisted ones, since they were able to cause small building to building level fragmentations. They survive a building plus level explosion. So, yeah, that's something. But anyways, now let's get into more bigger stuff. Specifically, my specific problem, and that is the 1.21 gigawatts scaling. Sure, if you just look at the calculation itself, it would be building level. But there are some things that we need to talk about. For one thing, the animatronics no-cell that amount of energy with ease. Like, you can argue that they didn't, but for me, just looking at the models, they don't look burned to me. So they practically no-cell that amount of energy going into their endoskeleton and going on to their shells. If you don't know, no-selling something is the same as one-shotting something, which is a 10 times multiplier. Doing this, yeah, we get, like, large building level AP for the animatronics and durability. And also, this isn't really that inconsistent because they were able to one-shot the twisted animatronics. Like, sure, you could argue that it wasn't a one-shot, but I would argue that it was a one-shot because all those remaining punches is just to destroy the animatronics fully, not necessarily they needed to do that to, like, knock them out or something, because they clearly did knock them out and destroy them, and they just did more stuff. So this would mean that they would have, like, building level all the way to large building level AP. Also, there are some other scalings I can get that would put this into the small town all the way to large town level scaling, but people wouldn't want to use those things because they would think it would be inconsistent. But hey, we got large building level, so yeah. I don't have a problem with how he scaled Frisk. I kind of agree with most of everything he stated, but I really didn't like the fact that he thinks that genocide route Frisk is stronger than pacifist route Frisk, even though pacifist route Frisk had, like, the best feats in the entire series. Like, some people say they are relative to each other, like, maybe during the beginning, but I don't think they are relative to each other as the story goes on. At the beginning, maybe, but at the very end, no. I really don't think so. But that is my only problem with how he scales Frisk. But apart from that, he did a pretty good job. And now we get to the conclusion, where he basically stated that all the animatronics are unquantifiably impossible to, like, scale above. Well, there's a simple answer to this. Just give them a one-shot multiplier. Like, you don't agree with me? Consistently, in this series, if an animatronic or somebody is stronger than you, then you should be able to one-shot it. Five Nights at Freddy's 2, one-shot. I'm talking about the movie, not the games. The twisted ones, one-shot. William Afton, one-shot. Literally every single jump scare from the games, one-shot. Unless you're talking about UCN, which is just an infinite cycle of, whatever. So, consistently, if you're stronger than somebody else in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe, you should one-shot them. Which, doing this for all of our animatronics, based on the 1.21 gigawatts feat and everything else, they should be much higher than the classic animatronics. Especially the Glam Rocks. The Glam Rocks, to me, are the superior ones out of everybody else. Some people still think that it's the Funtime animatronics, but from what I know, since they're more advanced, they're probably likely stronger. So, based on everything else, and this weekend Afton, or the Mimic, was able to take the power of the building, and this one would likely lose to, like, Glamrock Freddy, and it would be consistent with our scaling. We would have a Glamrock Freddy that would be into the large town level ranges. Way above Frisk's town level metas. And also, you could also argue the Mimic scaling to the Tangle, and you could argue this Tangle to be stronger than how he scales them, but I really don't have a problem with that. But still, he really downscaled the animatronics pretty harshly, with him even saying that we needed to use FNAF World to actually stand a chance against Frisk. Which, for one thing, FNAF World is canon. I know people keep denying it, but you need to wake up from the cope. It's canon. And also, the fact that there are some other things, like him saying that Frisk can destroy all the animatronics because he survived the entire universe getting destroyed, okay? So, an average soul in Five Nights at Freddy's can create universes with their own space-times and more. And the extreme high tiers, like Charlie, Cassidy, William Afton, all those other people, should scale above. So if we're using that, then they should still win. If you don't believe me, I'm just going to say this one thing. If I had to name one specific character that I think could beat Frisk, then it would be Cassidy, aka Golden Freddy. Because she has the most consistent, most best scaling that the series has. At least in my opinion. People still think it's Charlotte, but I still think it's Cassidy. But anyways, that's the video. And why Frisk would probably lose. Anyway, see you later. Bye.